Now we will begin Youth Dialogue on Urban Governance Modernization. 有请主持人和嘉宾上场. Now let's welcome our host Li Jingjing and her guests.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Youth Dialogue. I'm Li Jingjing, host of CMG and CGTN. President Xi used to said to the youth that when the youth can prosper, the nation can prosper. And we are relying on the youth to shoulder their responsibilities. That is why we have invited 4 youth representatives from different backgrounds of culture to discuss about future urban governance modernization, their views and their insights and their contributions. First, I will introduce the 4 panelists. First, next to me, Xia Yuxin, master student at the School of Economics and Management, Beijing Jiaotong University, youth volunteer representative of SRPC. Moatasim Al Khatib, data and economic expert, Abu Dhabi Department of Municipalities and Transport, IMPA student, School of Public Policy and Management. Wang Yanchen, member of the Legislative Council of Hong Kong, member of the All China Youth Federation, vice chairman of Hong Kong Federation of Trade Unions. Mr. Anton Bogs, research fellow of Freie Universität Berlin, visiting scholar of the School of Government, Peking University.
The 4 panelists are from 4 different cultural backgrounds, 4 different cities. However, they have the first-tier working experience working in the city governance field. So let's hear from your view. I'll give the floor to Yuxin first. And Madam Xia, as a volunteer, you have participated to the community-level governance for a long period of time. Can you please share with us, distinguished leaders and guests, good afternoon. As I was born after the millennium, I was quite delighted to participate in the youth volunteer program for the Dongcheng district, and also on behalf of the voluntary team, I'd like to share with you some of our thinking. The swift response to public complaints is a window for us to know about the governance of the city. We have deeply participated into the community level services, and also we are fulfilling the final 1 mile work, and also to become coordinators to help the residents to solve their problems and meet their demands. And during this process, I have converted all the theoretical knowledge I learned on the book to my practical experiences, and I have got the experiences of working in the community level and know what I could do in the future. And moreover, I have close contact with many workers at the community level, and they are quite passionate about their work, and they are the role models for me, and I learned a lot from them. Many of my friends are participating in the voluntary work in the community service or the voluntary teaching in the remote area. We are so cherished about all these opportunities, and working at the community level could help us to improve our capability. And moreover, in the details, we are promoting the development of the society, and we could also donate our effort to the development of our country. Thank you very much. If you dial the hotline 12345, and maybe you are talking to the operator. However, Yuxin is one of the voluntary working at the community level, and the last mile work is very important because you are facing the residents there and you are helping them to solve the problem.
Lived in different countries, Abu Dhabi, Jordan, USA. You also live in Beijing for 2 years. I'm wondering, what's your perspective on the governance, urban governance in Beijing, and how is it different from other cities?
Absolutely. Thank you for your question. I think it's essential to begin to define what we mean by urban governance. And maybe urban governance refers to the processes and how cities are being managed, are being developed, and how we find the balance between the residents, the private businesses, and the public institutions. Now, how do we define what a good urban governance is? And I believe it's categorized by transparency, efficiency, and adaptability, and most importantly, resilience. Now, it's critical that we create cities that are not only economically vibrant, but it's also socially inclusive, sustainable, resilient against future challenges. Now, I believe that a key element to effective urban governance is the bottom-up adaptive strategy when it comes to decision-making and policy-making, where the decisions are essentially shaped by the needs of the citizens and are shaped by these essential needs rather than top-down directives. And from my opinion, I believe that China's or Beijing's governance model is a successful embodiment of the principle or the ethos of by the people, for the people. And this because it's shaped by the concerns and by the needs of the people that the government is serving, and is truly a remarkable example and a benchmark that many nations can take as an example.
Thank you so much for bringing such an international perspective. Because sometimes when we live in a city for too long, we took everything for granted. We didn't realize until another perspective see how amazing some things we live every day in is. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
陈颖欣，你来自中国香港，我也听说。
As Madam Chen, you are from Hong Kong. As a community worker in Hong Kong and also for the Legislation Council, can you describe your daily work to us? Thank you, Madam Moderator, distinguished leaders and guests. Good afternoon. As I was working as a member of the Legislative Council in Hong Kong, my situation is quite similar to the workers in the documentary of 12345 hotline. Sometimes we need to take the telephone call, sometimes we need to talk to the private sector, sometimes we need to give suggestions for legislation and policy making. All this work are also included in my daily work in Hong Kong in the Legislative Council. When I saw 12345 hotline that is taking great reform, I know that this is a great news for us, because in Hong Kong we also have a hotline. However, it is one direction. No. Sometimes it is helpful for you to search for some information. In Hong Kong, we have a hotline to know about the information, and it serves 24/7, and also it have 30 language services. As you know that this, if you have some complaints or appeals, the 12234 in Hong Kong could not help you to address your problems and respond to your complaints. So if my friends go to Hong Kong and you face some problems, you can call me as a hotline to solve your problem. Because in Hong Kong, there are more than 100,000 people voting during the Legislation Council. And however, I only have 10 people working in my team, just like volunteers. I recruited a lot of volunteers like Yuxin, and now I'm thinking about how to provide better governance for Hong Kong. And we learned a lot from Beijing, and those experiences could borrow to Hong Kong. And I think in Hong Kong we could learn the benchmark set by Beijing and to make the regional governance better. because you need to sometimes could receive the demands or requests from over 100,000 people. And so you must be quite jealous about 12345 hotline because we have over 1,000 operators. I think in Hong Kong we need to think about the efficiency about the hotline to make people in Hong Kong to have the sense of belonging and the sense of gaining. So this kind of hotline system could be borrowed and learned by Hong Kong and many other systems. So this is a mutual learning system. When you come to or forum, and you could borrow Beijing's experience to Hong Kong, and then Hong Kong could bring your experiences to mainland China. And this is also a very good channel for telling Chinese story well. And we will also invite Anton Bogs because he has very good Chinese. Can you share with us the difference of urban governance between China and German? Actually, in my country, we do not have such kind of hotline. We have 115 in Berlin. However, it is not the same as the SRPC. It is just like the information providing channel, and in some certain field, there are some hotlines that could help people to solve something. For example, for medical service and also for psychological service or sexual assaultment. However, it is not as comprehensive as RPC hotline. And in my country, it is not asking the government to solve the problem. However, in Germany, if we call the hotline, it is not helpful for us to solve our problem by the government. If we would like the government to do something, that is to issue a sue, to fill in a sue. If you have some quarrels with the neighbors or the employer do not want to pay your wage, and then they will go to the court for suing. And sometimes, if you want to urge the government to do something in the public sector, for example, to clean the rubbish on the road, or some unemployment payment or subsidy has been withdrawn by the cancelled by the government, it is very hard to solve such kind of problems through calling the hotline. The mainstream is relying on suing or the administrative revision of the case. And some interesting differences between my country and China is that because I have been investigating many places in China and many other countries, some issues like the leakage of the pipe, maybe you are lack of money for maintenance, or within the community, the road was damaged, and then the community a lack of fund for the reconstruction, then the community level service team would like to pay for such kind of maintenance, or even at the sub-district level. However, in Germany, the community felt reluctant to do so, or people won't want to pay for that because they think that's the responsibility of the government. And some behaviors in our government, for example, the quarrel with the neighbor or the leakage of the pipe, then if such thing happens in China, then Chinese people won't accept that. If the government ignore the need of the citizens. So such kind of experiences need to be borrowed by the both countries. I'd like to thank all the speakers for sharing us the differences of the urban governance in different cities. They are elites of our youth. I would like to hear about your suggestion on how to mobilize the youth, the most dynamic team, to full play their role. So I'll give the floor to Yuxin. And Yuxin, as you are a university student in Beijing and you are doing the voluntary work, so how to mobilize the youth to participate in the urban governance? I think the participants of the youth will help to ease the pressure of the community workers. For example, in Beixinciao sub-districts of Dongcheng districts, we have 3,180 households and over 5,000 people living in the community. However, we only have 20 working staff in the sub-districts. And however, with the participants of the youth, there we have more people to serve them. And now we have witnessed the rapid development of the digital tools, and we have the hand-on skills to help the community to better serve the citizens. And I know there are so many elderly people, and some live alone in the community. They are quite happy to talk to us, and they want to connect to this rapid developed information age. However, their children maybe could be very busy. Then we could, as a volunteer, we could be the family member for them and to accompany them and to help them to solve some minor issues and also to solve the problems before the occurring of the problem. And also grandpas and grandmas, and they might a lack of knowledge to the elderly care services. So we have printed out some of the guidebooks for the elderly care and to teach these elderly citizens to use the smartphones and also to enjoy the elderly service system.
So in your daily work, you also teach the elderly how to use the modern technology, for example, cell phones, right? Yes. There are two aspects. First, we have complement part of their emotional needs. They like talking to people. They do not work anymore. They don't go to school anymore. They have less channels to get in touch with the society. That is why they like us talking to the volunteers and the community workers to update their knowledge about the society. And then smartphones and digital products, actually they are very trendy. They want to learn how to use, for example, to have food delivery and to buy some vegetables from online. But their children are very busy every day working. They cannot spend much time to teach their parents or families about this. So as volunteers, every day when we go to each household, we can solve one small problem for them every day. So hand in hand, we can come into a new era. You mentioned one thing, I don't know if you have noticed. She said that there are about 20 community workers who are dealing with 5,000 residents in the community. Actually, it's effort-taking. We should give them more understanding because they are dealing with all kinds of complaints and requests every day beyond our imagination. So we hope that all the residents can participate also and also understand them and respect them and care for them. I like what you said. The youth, when accompany this elderly, also work together with them into a new era of digital development. We do not let anyone behind. We do not leave anyone behind. We will catch up together. Yes, indeed. This will be a focus for us in the future. And we can work more on that. Thank you very much, Yuxin.
You know, this young generation is living basically born into the digital age. They grew up with iPad technology, AI, all this fancy technology, and many young people are hooked up on social networks all the time. So some people think, you know, sometimes we can get comments and people's concerns on social networks such as TikTok, Douyin, Weibo, whatever social networks. Do you think that's a good way to address public concerns?
Now I agree that social media plays a crucial role in engaging the youth, especially in the governance process. Now, however, I believe, based on our experience working in the government, is that the conventional approach to social media engagement can be enhanced a bit by using good and smart algorithms. Now, within these algorithms, we can analyze online interaction, identify key concerns, especially key concerns in the youth, like access to education, affordable housing, opportunities to work, inflation. These are concerns of the youth. Now, using good and smart algorithms to identify and to address these main key concerns, that would help us, people in the government side, to recommend policies based on what we see the data is presenting. Again, it always goes back to being data-centric and less gut feeling when it comes to developing policy and the policy development frameworks that we implement in the government. Now, this approach can indirectly guide the young generation and indirectly and directly participate in the decision-making process within the government. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I also,
放眼
young generation are the backbones of the society, of the future of our world. So I'm wondering, how do young people, what's the ideal urban modernization is in your vision for the world? Maybe we can start from An Haoyu, from that direction. 那浩宇来，我们讲一下你。
So, Anton, what is an ideal future governance of the modernized world? Okay, I'll start with my own experience. I'm a young fellow, grew up in Germany, and I'm now a PhD candidate in China. I have the opportunity to be in China. I've seen many interesting things I want to learn. The longer I stay here, the more things I want to have a deep understanding of. Coming from Germany to China, there are not so many people like me. But when I look at other youth, I find them very enthusiastic, full of dreams, and they are willing to go to a very different country to have a deeper understanding of the situation, its culture, and its society. I feel that youth can contribute a lot. Therefore, I hope that in the future, in my vision, more and more foreign youth can come to China to learn. And I hope that more Chinese youth can also go abroad to know about them. This is a two-way international communication. If youth can participate more in such communication, this is very helpful for the urban governance. Yes, you hope more youth can be like you to come to China to learn China's culture and language, and Chinese youth to other countries to increase cultural and the people-to-people exchange, right? Yes. Now China has provided visa-free policies to 40 countries and regions. This will further promote our two-way communication. I hope that more youth can be like you to come to learn. Yingxing, I'm wondering what work you have done in Hong Kong can allow more youth to be engaged in the future modernized urban governance. I also invite Anton to come to Hong Kong to communicate with us. Actually, our expectations for the future cities, I believe other cities should also learn from Beijing in the future. The application of technology. By using technology, we can improve urban governance and provide a better life for the citizens. Beijing's reform of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hotlines can be also applied to Hong Kong and other cities. The whole digital system can play more roles and be replicated. we can build a larger database, a larger digital world, allowing big data to play a bigger role. We know that artificial intelligence is that the more you use, the more intelligent it is. So by working together, we can build such a database. For the future, we can play a better role. For example, as I shared with you, the hotline in Hong Kong, 1823, it is one way. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's interactive. You can get some feedbacks. In the future, if we can establish a database, maybe we can use AI applications. Before something happens, it will proactively solve the potential problems or dissolve the tension. And we can also prevent future problems. I believe the future direction is like this. And I'm looking forward to a future cities. But currently, we are facing one problem, as mentioned by Yuxin. Many old people, also in Hong Kong, they want to use high-tech products. The youth should also allow these people to enjoy the benefit of technology. For example, we organized an event in June so that the audience can know about the benefits brought up by technology. We organized over 100 volunteers to teach them how to use the apps, how to shop online, and how to purchase medicine online. And they can also be benefited. I think in the future, the youth will be participants and builders of the future cities. But as the youth, we also should have a sense of responsibility, allowing the elderly to become the beneficiary of future cities. Thank you very much, Jingjing, for the practice and angle from Hong Kong, China. The last question I want to ask Yuxin, because you are the youngest panelist here, and you are also a volunteer at the community level. I feel so happy for you, and I can see the hopes of the youth in the next generation. So what is your vision of the future governance? I believe smart and intelligent cities full of young atmosphere and new quality development, convenience, more detailed services, warm services, more and more young people and international youth can be engaged in different aspects of the society. We can all contribute our bits. As the youth in different parts of the society, we can also give full play to our talents and realize our dreams. And the cities will also be vitalized because of us. Thank you so much. Thanks to the 4 panelists for your insights from different backgrounds and different angles and different cultures. I hope that you are all inspired by them, seeing their enthusiasm. If the cities are more friendly to the youth, they will contribute more to the cities. Thank you very much for this part.